I'm going to tell you how you can make money trading looking at gap fill stats based on weekday. So I'll show you an example first, and then I'll explain what this report is saying. Here we're looking at SPY, and to the left of this vertical yellow line is Tuesday, to the right is Wednesday. So you can see that Tuesday's closing price is 434.47. Wednesday gapped up, and it opened at 435.65. So there was a $1.18 gap up, which is just the difference between the Wednesday's open and Tuesday's close. So you can see this is the gap up here. So a gap fill is when Wednesday's price touches Tuesday's closing price. So a gap fill is when this day touches this red line or touches this previous day's closing price. Now the same thing applies to if there was a gap down. So if this opened below Tuesday's closing price, like the gap fill would still be touching this red line, which is the previous day's closing price. So now let's look at what this report says. We're looking at SPY, we're looking at year to date. So we're looking from January 3rd to October 31st. And we see that different weekdays, we're looking at all these weekdays, but right now we're looking at Wednesday. And we see that 78% of gaps up on Wednesdays get filled that same day, which means exactly what happened here. This is Wednesday, the gap fills on Wednesday. So 78% of all gaps up this year have filled on Wednesdays. So that's very, very insightful for you to know when you're trading and when the market is opening and you see a gap up and it's a Wednesday morning. Before you start taking a trade, you should base your plan on these stats, that almost 80% of the time the gap has filled. So if there's a gap up overnight, you don't just this is a side note, but you don't just get short at the open. You find a good entry. Here, 436 would have been a great entry, and you start to target this gap fill. You target the gap fill, and you can leave runners there. You can leave your whole position to there, and then capture the rest, leave runners below that. But 78% of all gaps up on Wednesdays this year have gotten filled. So in your morning plan, you should have a short bias going into the day. This does not mean short right at the open. It does not mean buy puts at the open. It means you should have a short bias, find a good short entry targeting this gap fill. And that's exactly how you can make money trading using gap fills by weekday.